Pooping on.
Ha ha! Welcome back to Fat Fish. I'm Brad Grunny Grunberg, aka Snacks. And that's Eric the
Um,
Fish Snyder. And this is show number 19, and we have a very special guest today. Way back in the day at the University of Arizona, Kai Babuachuka, I met a man named Mike Nathan. We call him Nate. I walked in his room and I said, "Are you Nate?" And that was it, right?
That was it. That was all it took. You actually said, "Where is Nate?"
Oh, that's right. Where's Nate? Yeah. And then you said, "I'm right here in your dorm room." And then we became the best of friends because our friend Dan Golden grew up with you in Detroit.
Until he moved to L.A.
That's right.
We'll
Goldie.
give him off to you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Nate. What you've been doing, You're a teacher, correct?
No. Well, I work in public education, Grunny, for the last 30 years, but I'm a school social worker.
What does that entail?
Teachers work too hard. That entails, and there's no day is the same. And on any given day, I could be doing a lot of different things. But primarily, my focus is with the special education students, ones who have emotional impairments or who have difficulty with dysregulation and things like that. But I also I run groups. I work with teachers on behavior plans. You know, this is boring, Grunny. I'm on summer vacation. I don't even want to be thinking about it.
But I want to get to a point because we had a psychology class together.
Yeah, we did.
With Sweet Lou
Frisky.
And I cheated off you to get through that class. And I want to I want to extend my thanks because if I didn't pass that class, I wouldn't have graduated the University of Arizona.
I do what I can, Grunny. I should, I left after 2 years to attend the University of Michigan, but it was one of the defining moments of my time at the University of Arizona when I was able to. I think one time we did the fold, and the other time we did the drop. I folded my test with the answers, and I handed it off to you on my way out. And then the second time I did the drop, where I just kind of pretended like I dropped something, and you picked it up.
Hey, Mike. If you're teaching special ed, my wife's a school teacher, so much kudos to you guys. What you guys go through is incredible, and you're one of the unsung heroes, along with policemen and firemen in our community.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. And in teaching special ed, have you taught your kids things that you've learned from dealing with Brad in college? Like, because do you put his face up like on a dry erase board and say, "This is what you don't want to be"?
Exactly. Well, like I said, and I give your wife a lot of credit because she's a teacher, and I work with the special ed kids and I counsel them. But I'm a school social worker. But that's okay, Fish. We just met today, but it's it's like in the movie Animal House when they put Flounder up when they're voting. And everybody, I could just put Grunny up. Well, he's a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't I get in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fraternity? Yeah.
No, but all kidding aside, Grunny and I have been friends ever since that day we met back in 1982. And there's not anybody that I know who he's the type of guy that if ever I needed something, or he would give me the shirt off his back. Second of all, if I needed something, he would whatever I needed, he's always there. He's incredible. And we may not see each other that often in person, but that don't matter.
No, we just pick up where we left off, and that's
exactly
what happened with me and Fish. We worked together many moons ago, and we just picked up where we left off, and we started this wonderful tryst on Fat Fish. Hey, that right. Nate, there's something that we all have in common here. Going number 2, going poo-poo. I want to talk to you about how and when you go poo-poo. You don't do away games. You will not go poo-poo outside your house. Can you explain?
Well, again, yeah, I certainly can. And it wasn't always like this. I don't know what happened. But first of all, I feel like, I don't know. I don't mean to bring up the competition, but I was watching that Smartless documentary with, and it's on Max, we call it now, not HBO Max, just Max.
Yeah, we're on strike. We don't like those people, but that's
exactly. But long story short, there was a scene in there that I believe it was Jason Bateman was talking to Will Arnett and Sean Hayes. Sean Hayes, I just saw that play and his play, Goodnight Oscar.
Oh, he's a great
fantastic play. My first in-person Broadway play. I highly recommend it.
I know him well.
Anyway,
one of the nicest guys.
Not only don't I like away games, Grunny, for me, I time everything in the morning. especially during my school year, I have to go before I shower, or else my day is ruined. Okay. I almost have to, so there's that in the morning. So which means I got to wake up, I got to have a certain amount of coffee, and I got to get things moving along. And usually I can. And then I shower and get ready. I go to work. And if that doesn't happen, I'm not in a good mood all day.
And what do you call it? What do you call it when you?
Well, I drop the kids off at the pool absolutely every day before I shower. And I don't know, Grunny, when I first said that to you, you just thought it was the best line ever. I take no credit for it.
I'm going to use it in one of my scripts because it is so fucking funny. It's unbelievable.
I couldn't believe you never heard it.
Well,
I never heard it.
Told me a story about when you're at school and you don't use the facilities.
No.
If you have to go, what do you do?
Well, then I have to find a location that is suitable for my needs. And that's usually I have to get in the car and drive. And that means I go, my go-to place, there's a Marriott hotel, not
there you go.
Yeah.
Fine.
No, the exact opposite. I get in the car and I drive about 2 or 3 minutes. The Raider bucket.
They shit on me, so I'm gonna shit in them.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What I do, Grunny, is I'll find a suitable location that it's not a home game for me, but it's the closest thing I can find. Like I said, it's usually a hotel lobby, bathroom. But the greatest part is this particular one I go, because every stall is its own. It's like a closet, it's its own. So it's really nice. It's got cloth towels for my hands. The other thing is that when I walk in, there's this restaurant first, and so I kind of look at my watch, look at the restaurant like I'm there for a reason other than just to
you
drop the kids off. I pretend like
a hotel or I'm meeting somebody. That's
exactly, but then I beeline it right for the bathroom, and
Do you put paper down or do you?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
I put paper down, and I don't use the seat things. Those things I find I use the toilet paper. Absolutely.
Do you find this? I talked to Brad off camera about this. Do you ever find that when you do use the seat covers, which I call candidates campaign hats, you're undoing your buckle, you're trying to get your ass on the pot, and all of a sudden the toilet flushes itself and it takes the paper in with it all the time.
Well, that's why I'm telling you, Fish. I don't use because I think when you push that thing down, so for the splash and for the guard for the unit. That's where it touches the water. So I'm telling you, I just go toilet paper and I can be more accurate. And so if that happens, if it flushes because of the touchless flush, you never know, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other thing. What if you're, midstream, mid poop and you want to give a courtesy flush? What do you do? You got to find the button back there. And sometimes you can't. There is no button. So then you're
well, let me jump in on that one. I always find, because I work in the restaurant business, it's always great to do a courtesy flush, because if you know it's going to be a bad one, you don't want the guy walking into the stall that's taking a leak and thinking, oh my God, what is going on in there? We better call the health department. I think Grunny's in town and taking a shit. And then when you walk out, the whole bar is looking at you like,
yeah. Let me ask this, Nate. Nate, do you go wipies? Do you just go toilet paper? And
Grunny,
when you do the away game, do you go through the whole toilet paper to get the asshole and everything in there? You want to clean that out.
I am so glad you brought that up, Grunny, because I am so prepared, and I do this when I travel. The I forget the flushable wipes, game changer in my life. Okay, I've been using them for years and years, and I have this argument with my friends. If you step in dog poop outside and you're barefoot, are you wiping it off with dry toilet paper? No. You're going to find some moist, damp something. So I keep those in the glove compartment, Grunny. And those go right in my pocket, and they'll go right into the bathroom with me. I'm never more than 100 yards away from those.
What do you do, Grunny? What do you do? I mean, you go to Home Depot and get all kinds of.
Did you drop the kids off in the pool this morning already?
Me?
Nate.
Yeah, I absolutely did. Absolutely.
Good. That's good. You had a good poop. I just had a poop before the show started. Oh, it's so fucking good. Oh, I feel refreshed. So I want to tell my story about my poop. I want to go back to Roscomer Road Elementary School, 5th grade, Mr. Carlin's class. It was lunchtime, and I had a piece. That pizza looked so good. It was the fish sticks or the pizza. but it was Pizza Wednesday, and I had a nice big fat piece of cheese pizza, right? And then all of a sudden I'm not feeling well, but I didn't want to go into the bathroom, because what happens is when you go in the bathroom and kids know you're making a two, they throw spit wads over, they start screaming, making fun of you, doing all sorts of stuff. So I wanted to, hold it in until I got home. Well, that didn't work out too well. I shit right in my pants, right there. Yes, right there near the cafeteria. So what did I do? I improv. I did a Nate. I took my sweatshirt off and I tied it around my waist, okay, to cushion the blow, right? Because I still had to go back to class before 3 o'clock we got out. So I'm in the class. I have shit up my ass. And all of a sudden, we're having a test. Mr. Marty Carlin says, Jesus Christ, Grunberg, open the doors. It stinks in here. And then all of a sudden I thought my cover was blown. I have flop sweat all over me, right? All the kids thinking that it's me. And he goes, I know what the smell is. It's the garbage dump, and the Santa Ana winds are bringing the smell from the garbage dump into the room. I was so fucking happy. Class ended. I got on the bus. I sat in the back of the bus, opened the windows. The shit was kicked into my fucking ass. I run in the house right to the shower, and everything was great. But let me tell you, my cover was almost blown. I mean, I have shit in my pants recently. I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with me. Nate, can you help me?
You know what, Grunny? We need to go to. We'd have to go to Vienna. You'd need a whole team.
Well, there's no. I'll say it in your psychological terms. There's no anal retention with the three of us. Isn't it funny though, guys, that the scenes you see in movies you remember the first American Pie, where Stifler gives the horse fizzies to Finch and he's in the bathroom and he just lets it loose because he's so afraid to go to the bathroom at school, and he has to go, and he's doing this. I mean, look, we do this a lot, but check this out. This is one of the funniest scenes in movie history from Mel Brooks. And wrong. So sorry to take you away to the Grunberg family reunion at Thanksgiving. But
that was Blazing Saddles, one of his classic movies.
Alex Karras, famous.
Yes,
Detroit
Alex
Lion.
Karras. Oh my God! So let me ask you something, Fish, to bring you into the conversation. Fish is a bartender at one of the best places in Vegas. There you go, Nate. You're still there? There he is, Nate. There we go. If you ever get to Vegas, you got to go see Fish at this place.
All right.
Duck's Tavern, the best place, best sports bar, best food. Bartender is not that great. The Graveyard. Oh, that's you, Fish. So, Fish, I want to know, when you're at work, you have a meal. Do you ever have to use the bathroom? And how do you how do you do that?
Well, I give the clicker that opens the door to the cook, and he watches the bar for me so I could sit and relax. I don't like to hurry anything, and sometimes things get stuck, and the worst is pushing, that causes hemorrhoids. But I go through. I sometimes I got to go away games, but I always walk in with the sanitizer. I do the thing. I put the thing down, the campaign ad down, and I do my business. But I try. I'm like Nate. I try and coordinate a time to do it in my house so I avoid those situations.
Let me ask you, Fish. Rumor has it you have a very hairy ass. How do you get the shit past all that hair?
Well, that's not true. I'm a big time manscaper, buddy. I swear to God. You don't.
Really?
You don't win best ass in Brentwood 3 years in a row and still carry a nice derriere with having what looks like, Madagascar in your crack. It doesn't work that way, buddy. Stop talking about what you got. You're like Vietnam. You need a goddamn machete to get through that thing. when you shit, you scream incoming.
I want to talk. Well, Nate is all Detroit sports. You name
Speaking
it.
About shit.
Everything about it.
Exactly.
I mean, you guys, he's a Raider fan. You're a Detroit Lion fan. Why don't you chop it up on football a little bit here? What do you think, Nate?
I'd rather talk college,
Okay.
but that's okay. We can. I don't know. Hey, Fish, I did have one question though, Fish. When you that sign in the bathrooms at the restaurants, employees need to wash their hands before they go. You're all over that, right? Please tell me.
Huge. Yeah, you got to. You had to. Now we have the hand thing. We get the sanitizers in there because you know what? Would you want to go into a restaurant where that could you imagine being in a bathroom in a restaurant and you see a chef walk out, he's dropping a deuce, he walks out, hey, how you doing?
I think that was on Seinfeld with Poppy.
Yeah. Right. Now we all watch. Look, of course I wash my hands. College football, I'm huge. I'm a University of Texas guy. You're obviously University of Michigan. How's Harbaugh looking this year? Because you made the Final Four last year.
We made the Final Four 2 years in a row, and we came up short both times in the semis. First time against Georgia, we got spanked, and then last year that TCU debacle. Teams looking right now. We've got a quarterbacks back, and I would say we have the best two running backs in college, the tandem with Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum, and that offensive huge. I mean, and our season's stacking up. I mean. Unfortunately, we don't play a lot of tough non-conference games at all this year. I think we opened with East Carolina and then Bowling Green, UNLV.
Cupcakes.
It's ridiculous. Miami I don't even know. But
I got two questions for you. One statement. Corm reminds me of Christian McCaffrey that plays for the 49ers right now. But how do you feel? Because this goes into Brad's backyard. Two of the Pac-12 teams in USC and UCLA are going into the Big Ten in 2024. Are you all for that? Are you for the road trips? Do you think that makes the conference more competitive? Or you're adding SC into that mix, and that's going to be more competition?
Absolutely. I'm all for it. Absolutely. And they're going to switch. They're not going to have any more divisions after this year. It's going to just be like the Big 12 does. One conference, top two teams, every team plays each other. I think USC, Michigan will open the season in 2024 at the Coliseum. Now, don't forget, Fish, I believe Texas is coming to the Big House next year to open the season, too. I mean, our schedule just got a lot tougher next year.
Well, that's why Harbaugh gets a knock, Mike, is the fact that Alabama last year opened up with Utah and Texas. Utah goes to the Pac-12 championship. Texas is Texas. Always going to get 8 or 9 wins. And the same thing this year. USC opens up, I believe, with Fresno State and Grunberg Junior College. I mean, it's just – when you do that, it hurts your chances, I think, at the overall picture getting in. If the committee at the end looks at your strength of schedule, it's better to play the tougher teams. I got to ask Brad this. Brad, we grew up in Los Angeles. I never asked you this. Did you grow up a UCLA or USC fan?
I was a UCLA basketball fan, USC football fan. Anthony
That's so,
Davis.
Mike. I love it.
I'm sorry. I'm being honest. Can I be honest?
That's so fair weatder.
Is that all right?
I'm an LA guy too, Mike, from born and raised. But that's such a fair weather LA thing, because when Brad grew up like I did, John Wooden championships, USC with John McKay and Jolly John Robinson football. I grew up UCLA
like
fan.
USC football. I loved it. I love John Wooden, UCLA basketball. That's just how I roll. But Nate, let me ask you this. So people need to know Nate went to the University of Arizona for 2 years, and then he transferred to the University of Michigan. He's a huge alumni at Michigan. This guy has the best seats in the house because his wingman is a big macher.
Big booster. He does a lot for the university. I'm just part of the entourage.
Give a shout out to him.
Give a shout out to my bestie, Paul Pueblo Blavin, as you like to call him.
I love him. He's
Paul
such a nice guy.
I just got back from New York.
What a humble
guy. He is. He runs a scholarship program at University of Michigan for kids who age out of foster care. He and his wife, he's spending the rest of his life, trying to help others and give away some money because he believes, he gets more back than he gives, but he's just that. We've been friends since second grade, and unfortunate, he's got the sweet seats at Chrysler and the suite at the big house, and when I've gone to Final Fours, I've gone to road games, Big Ten championship games, and we're never too far from the field.
That's so nice.
So you're right. You're talking about the Final Four, Brad. Mike, that Fab Five team with Steve Fisher as a coach was phenomenal. Michigan's got a great sports program. My wife's from Youngstown, huge Ohio State fan. So, when you grow up in LA, it's USC and UCLA. Until you go to Ohio and Michigan, and they have like in the movie Varsity Blues and Friday Night Lights, they have big cardboard cutouts of the high school quarterbacks in their front lawns of their houses. Only place you have cardboard cutouts of people is Brad in front of his house of himself on
with a sandwich.
The roof on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I mean, LA could give a shit about high school football, but I love Michigan. I love Michigan sports. And you know what? Let's go back to pro football for a second. Lions had a hell of an ending last year, Mike. They finished really strong. I'm a big Jared Goff guy. I don't know about the Tigers, the Pistons, and the Red Wings. The Red Wings for a while were great with Stevie Eiserman.
So were the Pistons.
What?
So were the Pistons with the band.
We're going back to when Brad was actually playing basketball. That's what.
Well, we also had to go into work. We had with Chauncey Billups and Rasheed Wallace and going to work when Larry Brown was coaching. They had a couple titles.
Larry Brown. Wow.
Tayshaun Prince. You remember Richard Hamilton.
I meant when I think of Detroit Pistons basketball, I think about the bad boys, Dumars and
Rodman,
Isaiah Thomas, Rodman, Bill Lambier, Rick Mahorn. These guys
John
are throwing
Spider
elbows.
Sally.
Yeah.
The microwave, Vinnie Johnson. Don't forget about
Vinnie Johnson. Like I said, they were throwing elbows like they were in the roller derby in that. They had great championship run and a great rivalry with the Chicago Bulls. And you saw the hatred between Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan. It's great stuff. And Brad's a big basketball guy, and it came out that I think that Michael Jordan was the reason, if I'm not mistaken, that Isaiah was kept off the Dream Team. They just didn't get along. And Michael's Michael. So
that is true. Yeah.
There is some truth to that. That came out in whatever that Jordan documentary was called.
Last Dance,
I believe.
Yeah. Hey, Nate, I just want to thank you for coming on, buddy. I want you to come back and talk sports and all the good stuff. Would you?
Anytime, Grunny. I want to thank you for having me, and it was a lot of fun. I'll do it any day, anytime.
Let me ask you something real quick. Before I let him go, I got to go the other way. I've just driven to LA 3 times in the last 7 weeks, and they now have a catheter. They make a catheter that goes on your penis. So when you drive, because how many times you got to take a leak at our age? Going to pull off the road. There's rest areas every 35 miles. You could actually stick this on your Johnson.
It's like the Wizinator.
And it just goes into a thing, and there's no drippage and stuff like that. There's got to be a poopinator. There's got to be so you can poop on the road.
Oh, great.
Come on, something better than an adult diaper, right?
Mike, you're a smart guy. You went to Arizona and the University of Michigan, 2 esteemed colleges in our country. There's got to be a way to invent the poopinator and get me and Brad involved. Brad will be your test pilot.
I think we need to look at that. And I also went to the Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, home of the Warriors. Used to be the Tartars. Don't forget for my master's degree. But I'll tell you what. You say that about urinating. You're absolutely right. You're talking about a guy that's been through the ringer with that. So I've had a Urolift. Okay, I don't know if you've ever seen one of the commercial for that, but it's a process where they kind of go in through the hole and they have to separate your urethra from your prostate because I got the prostate of an 80-year-old and I'm only 59. It's a bit enlarged. So that's another show though. Okay,
that's another show. Yeah, but Nate, your good health is paramount. I love you. I want to thank you for taking care of these special ed kids and all the stuff you do with that, touching lives. Thank you for being my friend. All the laughs we've had, the Angel game, the Dodger games when you come to LA. But you got to promise me that when you go to Vegas, you'll go see Fish. Would you do that for me? Okay.
100%,
man. 24 hours, always open, like 7-Eleven.
It was a pleasure, Grant. I'm looking at this. I hope I'm not crooked because
no, you're fine. You're great. You're great.
All right. My screen.
You're a good-looking Jew. Look at these three fucking schmucks here. Look at these three.
You know what the great thing about it is about this whole interview?
Yeah.
Is I'm taking a dump the entire time. You don't even know
it. and Nate, I want to be, I want to be honest because we're all about transparency on this show. Fish said that you win the last 5 minutes. We've gone 25 minutes.
No, I didn't say that.
Fish.
No, it's okay, Fish. He's just busting your chops.
I'm telling you, Nate is all good as gold, baby. All right, he always shows up.
I said you win the last 5 minutes for you to take a dump. So
Nate, stay well, buddy. We love you.
You as well.
Before he goes, are you on the back wall?
This guy he wanted to get rid of you after 5 minutes. He keeps asking you fucking questions. Look at this guy.
Hey, quiet. Go eat a sandwich. Have a cream soda. Do some fucking thing, as Jimmy Serrano said in Midnight Run. Nate, are you on the back wall? Are you on the back wall there? Quit talking. Are you on the back wall there with Joe Franklin and Wally George and
in back of me?
No, I don't think I made that wall. But man, I could talk to you about Midnight Run too for another show.
With another show, great, one of the greatest movies ever.
You guys, it was a pleasure. I can't thank you enough for having me. Anytime you need to fill a spot, you get a guest cancel, you just have dead air. Give me a call. I'm in.
You're great. Always.
Take care.
See you Monday.
Love
you're gonna have to find someone
so much,
Monday.
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you
guys.
I'll be in touch.
God
and I'll get a restraining order against Fish. Jesus
love you.
Fucking Christ. He loves you.
Love you guys.
Love you, Nate. Take care.
Out.
Bye. I told you, man. What did I tell you, Fish? This guy is gold. Gold. I told you. See? You got to listen to me, Fish. When somebody drops out and I bring in a guy like that,
I listened to you.
Minutes. I told you.
Look what I did. I put on the tagline because you told me 20 minutes for the show that another person we had dropped out. I put Mike Nathan is a riot. Tune into Fish and Grunny. We're going to talk that and other stuff.
Good.
And he was a riot because you know what? A lot of people think we could be rude and crude and talking about it. There's not a human on the planet that doesn't take a dump and doesn't compete. And it's so taboo to talk about it.
Come on, buddy. That's what we do on Fat Fish. We talk what really is happening in our lives, the good, the bad, the ugly, right?
Yeah. Well, the good is we're going to end with some family stuff like you always do. And I feel like sometimes, like we go to this Wednesday stuff, I feel like I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, but we talk all the time. And I got some memes for you. First of all, how are you? How's your dad's foot doing?
My dad's right over there. He's doing well. His foot's getting better. His ankle is healing, thank God. But he's in great spirits, and I'm very blessed, thank God.
Yeah, you look good too. You got a haircut, I could tell.
I got a high and tight haircut. I bought a new Hawaiian shirt for the show.
Yeah. Good. I like that. Yeah, I've been wearing Hawaiian shirts. I got my white T-shirt V-neck on because I hate talking weather, but it's been talking. The 90 million people in this country are under heat alerts, and we're one of them. And if you think we're bad, Phoenix is what 26 straight days of 112 above. And we're going to hit 20 straight days of 110 and above, and it's rough. You stay inside a lot, and you do what you got to do. You walk your dog. If you wanted to walk Annie, you walk her at 3 in the morning because that's when you have to.
I feel for the homeless. I feel for people that the elderly that don't have air conditioning. I mean, it's a very serious thing, and it's not just we have it here, but again, not like you guys. 114 degrees. What do you do? How do you function? I mean, it's just,
you function. I people say, how do you live in that? And I come back at them and they say, where are you from? They say, I'm from Buffalo. You had 60 fucking snow days last year, which means you can't go out of the house.
Yeah.
We don't melt. We go to the house. We film. I went shopping with my wife yesterday. Got a nice burrito and we did what we had to do. You got to hunker down. Right. Hope your air conditioning works, but you survive it. And the great thing about it is when you hit the fall, football season comes along. Got one for you. Some of my favorite shows that came, I want to say, early 2000s, lasted about 8-9 years. Did you ever watch this show?
Entourage is one of my favorites. Love the turtle. I love it.
So I always
drama. I love it all. Yeah.
If Brad Grunberg had to have an entourage around you, could you think of 5 people, off the top of your head, me excluded, that would be around you?
Definitely not you. Yeah, Mike Nathan, who we just had on the show. My buddy Dave Linden, he would be part of the entourage. Who else? My buddy Stu Shalowitz, my buddy from Chicago, one of the solid guys. All right, I'd throw you in there. You'd be there, and then I need a fifth, right? Probably my brother Greg. He'd be the star, because, right? What's his name was the star, and then he had all his buddies.
He'd be Vinny Chase.
Yeah, Vinny
Here's
Chase.
the problem you have with that sixtum right there.
And you give me your 5 too. You give me your 5 after this.
That would be your 5 and plus. Well, it's be 6. You gave me 5 in yourself, I think, or is it 5? No, that's the B'nai B'rith. Yeah. That's the B'nai B'rith basketball league. Okay, who plays center? That's your entourage is all walking around with yarmulkes. My 5. I have such a huge. I'm bragging now. Would be all bartenders. Okay, wow. From Frankie Oli to any bartender I work with at Chuck's, or I've worked with in the past. I'll tell you why. Because whenever a bartender walks into a room, they get recognized, whether it's a bar they go to. And I'll give you an example. I went to my nephew's wedding this past weekend in Santa Monica. It was great. And when it came time for the cocktail hour, there's one bartender serving 1 million people. I get up there and I throw a nice piece of green in their tip jar. You want to bet that when that line was 10 deep again, that the bartender said, and I started, hey, how could he cut the line? And I said, tip your bartender, toke. And bartenders are great. Yeah, if I had to do, any bartender would suffice at me. Maybe I would add Greg Grunberg. I need a Vinny Chase. Yeah, but you're out. I can't have you. I mean, you know why?
So your ride or die would be 4 bartenders in you. That's your entourage. All right.
Yeah, I got too many. I mean, I have a great inner circle of my brother-in-law, my brother, my friend Craig, you, Bruce, and stuff like that. But
John Hyatt.
I like hanging with bartenders. What's that?
John Hyatt.
No, he's too short.
Too short? Yeah. He knows all the ladies, man. He's the ladies, man.
He doesn't know. All the ladies he hangs out with have limited teeth. Don't kid yourself. Had the guy in the podcast. He couldn't even get his mic. The guy's he's a producer and couldn't get his camera to work. Come on. Schmuck.
All right. No, I love the show Entourage. I thought they were going to bring it back. Doug Ellen. Oh my God. He's on my Facebook. He's a great guy too.
The movie. The movie was terrific.
Created the show. Wow.
Billy Bob, you ever check the Entourage movie, which is a sequel to it? Billy Bob Thornton. It came out in 2015. The show ended, but I like that kind of stuff. I like those Hollywood stories. I thought it was too campy. I don't like stories where it's a happy ending for everybody. Okay, you could get that at a massage parlor, and Brad will, and we'll have video of it in August when he comes in for Orlando and Dawn.
I've never been to a massage parlor in my life. Come on. Hey, but you mean like the Brady Bunch? I'm a Brady Bunch fanatic. I loved it because it always ended with a nice bow at the end. It always ended well. It always ended happy. It always ended right. That's me, but you don't like that stuff.
I don't. I like happy endings, but in real life, if there's 10 people, one's not going to have a happy ending. So I get it. You want to, if there's 10 people that some are going to have a hard life. Let's just wish it's none of the people that we know really well. And if not, we're going to try and help them. Here's a great meme. I want you to. Now you might know who this guy is. You might not. I think you do because you're a big basketball guy. Who's that?
That is Bobby Knight. Excuse me, Bobby.
Okay.
Bobby Knight. He's one of the greatest coaches of our time. He threw a chair at somebody right now.
Right. I was a guest on a podcast one time. I asked you this question because you're a fatherly type figure. You're a dad because you got great animals and the way you take care of your parents. All right. Thanks. I was asked, would you let your son Max, who was a great athlete, play for Bobby Knight? And I said yes. And mostly the people on the podcast said no, because he's a tyrant. The way he treats the kids, and he's like a real bad drill sergeant. But he graduates night. He has the highest graduation record of any coach in history of any college sport. 94%. And he tells the kids what it should be. You're a student athlete. You're going to play major college basketball with me. You're going to make the tournament. And he's even won national championship with Indiana. But you're going to get your degree. And I heard him in an interview recently say this, Brad. I want your opinion. He said, I put more doctors, lawyers, engineers, IBM executives into the field that played for me. So would you rather me be tough on the kid and they get an education, or be lenient and 30% of my players graduate, the rest are UPS and didn't get an education? What would you do, Brad?
I mean, absolutely. John Wooden was the same. He graduated all of his players. And, listen, not a lot of these athletes go on to being successful professionals in their sport. They have to go on in life. And really what Bobby Knight taught them is how to live their life. And it's not all about basketball. It's about getting an education and being a productive member of society, taking care of your families and stuff like that. I love Bobby Knight. I always have, and I always will.
Okay. That's a problem I have. I mean, you get a little philosophical here, is that you got 18,100 college football players and only 256 get drafted. Yep. In college basketball, you got thousands of college basketball players, and there's only 2 draft rounds. There's only 2 rounds in the draft, so 60 players get drafted. Yet every one of these kids is from agents, and their families are going to the pros, and their dreams it could be. A lot of great players don't make it because it's a numbers game. You're not, you're great, but you're not Michael Jordan, so you don't get that.
No, it's funny you mentioned that. Michael Jordan was taken in the draft after Sam Bowie. Sam Bowie never had a career because he got injured. Let me tell you something. If you get injured, right? I mean, wrong place, wrong time, wrong injury, you're done. And then at least you have your education to fall back on, right? I mean, listen, there's only one.
I still don't get that. I don't get how you get, and you see kids, and my son had to get student loans, and you did too.
Yep.
And you're getting a free education, and they should give you a stipend and that. But I don't know why. Maybe I'm just way behind the times. I don't know why more kids don't take advantage of that free education because you're on a scholarship.
Right.
And instead of the coaches and their agents and their families saying you're going to go pro, you're not.
I'm going to tell you why. I'll tell you why, because it's all about the flash and the cash. It's the cars, it's the women, it's the house. Let me tell you something. Money doesn't buy happiness, okay? You know that. We talked about this, you and I. You know what it is about? It's about being humble and real and giving back like Nate. And that's what you and I both do. And
you?
Yeah, well, I try. I do the best I can. But I'll tell you something. It just, when they see all these athletes with the chains and the rings and the cars and the women and all that stuff, let me tell you something. That's not real. That doesn't last very long. Okay. And if you make some really bad choices, it ends like that. And it has. Look at the player from the Raiders, right? He had that accident. He killed that woman and her dog. Oh my! Yeah. He's done. He's going to jail. And he's
Henry Ruggs, yeah, very sad. So good kid too. And the bottom line is this: you brought up Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight, you can make money as a doctor and a lawyer. And doctors and lawyers are wealthy, and IBM executives are wealthy. They're not making $30 million a year, but they're making $1 million, and they have a career to fall back on. I just don't. Someone chime in. Give me a comment on why the part of education isn't emphasized enough, and it's not still drilled into these kids' heads that. And what you're finding right now, which is great too, if you're an athlete, this is a dichotomy to all this. Big word, Brett. I know it's behind.
I have to look that up.
No, it's not on the menu with Nate Nels. The big dichotomy is a lot of kids right now are going to soccer because there's more soccer you can play in high school. You know how many leagues pay millions of dollars in soccer? La Liga, Bunchen in Germany, the Juventus League.
Messi. How about Italy. Messi in Miami.
Did you see what he's done? Do you see a seat sold for $100,000 to watch this guy play?
Unreal.
Yeah. Hey, check this out. Speaking about football. All right, there we go. Training camp started today, and that's your kickoff. September 7th, 2023. The Lions play
Jared Goff, your boy.
I just got done watching Netflix's Quarterback. You have Netflix?
No, I dropped it because they won't settle with the actors and the writers.
You seriously?
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for maybe I'll do that also.
If they come back to the table and tell the truth and make a reasonable offer, and we all can go and we all can sei gesund, like my grandma always said, live and be well. then I'll get my Netflix back. All right.
Well, Netflix, we don't have anyone to sponsor the show, but they just said they're pulling their sponsorship. They love the show. Let me tell you how Brad Grunberg's works. Netflix wants to sponsor the show, Brad, and give you $10,000 a week. Oh, okay, I'm on Netflix again. No, but that being said, if you do watch Netflix, and we have to hit everybody up on this whole thing. A wonderful, wonderful documentary on 3 quarterbacks: Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota, and Mahomes. I'll say this about Mahomes. What a potty mouth. Wow. So you saw that meme, right? Check this one.
Sure.
This has nothing to do with Netflix. There's the NFL starting, and then read that. There's only one nation in the NFL, and that's the Raider Nation.
Raider Nation.
That's Oakland. I'm the only schmuck on the planet. I'll get in trouble because I know people watch this that wish they were still back in Oakland. I really do. I love the vibe. That game, actually, look at that stadium. And the team was 3.
What about LA? Did you like when they were in LA?
It's funny you should say that. But you know Bill Plaschke is, right, for the LA Times for 40 years?
Great sports writer.
They did a poll in the LA Times last year. Who's the most popular team in LA? The Rams or the Chargers? And 72% voted for the Raiders. The Raiders have a huge fan base in LA.
Oh, yeah. No, it's huge. I love the Raiders. How are they going to do this year? Tell me. What do you think?
I think if Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy, they could win 9 or 10 games. The biggest – I just had a physical yesterday, and it went great. Unfortunately, Brad, I'm going to live. So you're stuck with me for a couple more years.
Oh, fuck.
I'm more nervous. You love this. This is the kind of sports fan. You're the same way with the Warriors. If Steph Curry's going through what I'm going through right now, I'm more worried about Jimmy Garoppolo's physical on the 25th, because if his foot doesn't pass the physical, the Raiders could cut him. Wow. And then they're stuck with John Hyatt and Brad Grunberg as quarterback. Bet the under. So
I'm like Kenny the Snake Stabler, baby. I'm a lefty, baby. I'm good. I can go in there.
You're a lefty?
Yeah, baby. I do everything with the left hand.
They're smarter.
You know
They're smarter. All right, let's get this family stuff. We got a few minutes to chop it up. I was in your neck of the woods. I went to a great wedding on over the weekend. Got out of this heat, and that's people say, "What does your wife look like? Your son, your granddaughter, your daughter-in-law?" This is us right around the block from Grunny, Will Rogers Beach in Pacific Palisades.
Oh, that's sweet. Look at that picture. That's great.
Yeah, that's my little granddaughter. That's my son. My wife is next to my son on his right. And that's my daughter-in-law, Maddie. And, of course, I got a football in my hand. Lefty.
Of course.
I'm not a lefty, sweet. But, it's
great
amazing.
Picture. Great picture.
How warm the water is. El Nino. I was shocked. The water's got to be in the high 70s.
Did you surf? Did you surf?
Yes.
You did?
I did. Yeah. The Yid got up there a couple of times. The thing about surfing that sucks, and you suffer this, it's very bad on your back. Extremely bad on your back because of the motions of when you balance and it throws you, you're effed big time. So limited. But I did a lot of body surfing, and whenever time you get to the beach, look, you live in Las Vegas, it's 114 degrees. It was 73 degrees. I mean, where you live, it's just it's wonderful. The traffic sucked. All right, buddy. Forget about me and my family, because your family, we all love our grandmothers, and we're gonna have a video of Brad coming up. But I just love, and this could be schmaltzy and stuff like that, but when he talks about his grandmother, I love my nanny. Funny, I had a nanny too. Check out this great picture. Look at that. Talk about that woman right there again.
Yeah, that is the LA premiere of the movie Striptease with Demi Moore. And this was so important. This was a great day in my life because in the movie I played the DJ in the Eager Beaver. And they made those jerseys for me, and they gave them to me after we finished when we wrapped the movie. And I decided to put one on and put one on Nanny. And we went on the red carpet, and we went to the LA premiere. It was so much fun. And Nanny was like, she didn't really understand the movie, but she loved it because sadly, 2 months later, she passed away. But again, I did everything with her that I wanted to do one more time. Everything that we love to do together, we did one more time. And I got to say goodbye to her. And I said, I'll see you again. But I don't think she's ever left me because I talk about her every day. She was my best friend. We laughed, we giggled. She had the greatest cackle that anybody is. She basically in my end card when I do productions and stuff. There's a Johnny Cocktails Entertainment, and it's her laugh behind the card. So
that's her laugh.
That's her laugh. Yes,
oh, I didn't know that. 'Cause I hear the cackle.
And,
I know
and at the end, I give her a kiss
monitor.
on the cheek. Yeah, I give her a kiss on the cheek. So she's going to be with me for the rest of my life. She'll always be with me. And I talk about her, and that's what life's about. You know, people that are in your life, that touch your life, that you got to keep their memory alive, and that's what I do.
It's unconditional love. You can see it in the fact that you could bring your grandmother in front of 50 strippers, and she probably had a great sense of humor. She probably was like, who brings their grandmother in front of 50 strippers and takes a picture? That's the kind of grandmother you want to hang out with. She's let me take a wild guess. Yeah. Very, very hip woman.
Oh yeah, no, she taught me so much. She taught me so much about life. I wish I listened to her more. But again, she really instilled goodness and love and all being humble and all the stuff that I live by today. And
what's the best piece of advice that what was Nanny's first name?
Helen Nanny Klein.
Okay, so we'll refer to her as Nanny. But what's the greatest piece of advice that Helen gave you that sticks you to this day? Because grandparents are always a positive influence, mostly.
She on her tombstone, I designed it myself, and it says Helen Nanny Klein, and it's her hand always knocking on wood, because when I talked to her on the phone, she'd always knock on wood, and she'd always say the same thing: "You should only sei gesund," and that's Yiddish for "you should only live and be well." And that's what I want for this strike. I want everybody to come back to the table, and I want to make a fair deal for the actors and the writers, and we should all just sei gesund.
Yeah. I walked with them. I sent Brad a picture. I'll get it on there next week. I walked with the writers a little bit. They let me, and they are adamantly angered. You read some of these things. It was in front of the Amazon studios down in Culver City, and it was a massive. There had to be hundreds of people picketing, and the KTLA news truck was there, which is Channel 5 in LA, and you saw the NBC news truck national there, and it just sucks that people that create, like Brad Grunberg creates a character, and the writers create the script for him to create a character, are being sequestered. They're being strangled by the studios that have put together so much content. Amazon has 68 things in the can, so they can wait this thing out. But in the end, you need writers and you need actors. You know, I'm a little upset at this. You need to educate me on this. We have some time for our audience. Why did the directors settle? Why are they not in solidarity?
No.
Give me you're in it.
Something you have to understand something. The directors always settle. They never. I don't know.
I need why.
That's a question that I want to ask somebody who's in the know. Why do the directors always settle? I mean, every 3 years, the directors settle. Okay. But let me explain something to you, Fish. This is a moment in time. Okay. This is it. Okay. If we don't stand strong, shoulder to shoulder, all the way to the end, okay, and we go the distance, we're fucked. The writers are fucked for decades, and upcoming actors, upcoming writers, because these studios don't give a fucking shit. It's all about the bottom line, money. And it's sad because, right?
I was at a wedding Saturday in Santa Monica, and everyone was talking about the strike. There were writers there and there was actors there. And the one thing that one of the bartenders told me that was working the wedding was, this strike's going to cost LA. And you were right when you said $30 million a day.
Yep.
And that's, see, what I didn't get into my head, and I grew up in LA, my mom and stepdad in the industry, is it's not just the writers and the directors. It's the little guy on craft services. It's the guys that are PAs that are making $500-600 a week. You know, it's not. Don't think about the writers and the actors. A lot of actors don't work anyways. What is it? 20% of SAG works.
But here's the thing. You say the little guy, right? What about What about maintenance? What about?
I'm talking about that. Go ahead.
No, I know. That's what you're saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not just about the actor and the writer. It's far-reaching. There's so many people that work in the business that you don't even know about. You know what I'm saying? And those are the people that are affected. I'm affected. Everyone's affected here. And this is the thing that really pisses me off. These studios think we're stupid. Okay? They come to the table and they say, we're losing money. You're not losing any fucking money. Okay? You're making so much money. In 1980, cable came into play. Okay? Cable television. And it was the same thing. We wanted residuals from the cable shows we were on. Oh, we've got to do a 2-year study. We'll get back to you. They were making millions of dollars. Now it's streaming. Okay? Let me tell you something. Did you see? I sent you Ron Perlman. He posted. Oh my God! I love.
He went off. He went off on that studio segment.
Oh, he was so fucking cool. I loved it. He spoke the truth, and karma is real. Okay, I don't wish anybody harm or bad health or anything, but karma is real. These studios are going to lose millions of dollars because of this. Okay, and in the end, we're going to get what we deserve. The writers.
You should. Well, it's a catch-22. It's the studios need actors and writers to provide content.
Correct.
Yet they're trying to fuck the people that provide the content, thinking that you're stupid. And I got news for it. I saw Solidarity. If I can get a picture on her, I'll get it on next week of me walking. And they let me walk, and my son was there, and it was great.
Yeah, please don't.
Why, man? I'm not a writers guild, but I
see you on the streets with a sign picketing.
What's wrong with that?
I'm fucking with you. Wake up.
You know what my sign said?
What?
Please feed Brad.
Give this guy a sandwich.
Give us. Is there a someone have a Chick-fil-A card around here?
I love Chick-fil-A. I hope they sponsor us.
Hey, between that,
thank you. By the way, thank you for walking the line. Thank you.
Yeah, look. I've been entertained by you, your brother, people in the business this is what we do. I mean, we talk about sports entertainment, and we talk about the great scenes in movies and stuff like that. We need that to get that. That's our escape in life. I will tell you this, buddy. Can you believe, because you grew up there like I did, can you believe the regentrification of Culver City? What it looks like right now? What it looked like 25 years ago was not what it looks like now. The shops and the restaurants and the streets and the little theaters, phenomenal. Tell everybody.
Oh, it's great. No, Culver City, a lot of my friends live in Culver City.
Huge.
And 20 years ago, no one would even drive through Culver City.
No.
But no, it's beautiful. I really love Culver City, and it's a great place to live. Yeah.
Right. So what do you got going on? What do you got going on this week?
I am. What am I doing this week? I'm going to get a restraining order against you.
Good.
After that, no, I'm just taking care of my mom and dad, and I'm going to have to figure out this strike. I'm going to go walk the line a couple times, and just try to find out or find a way to make some money, during this terrible time, And but again, I'm not complaining. We must do this. We must. It's like you said, it's a catch-22. We must stand together. We must stand strong, and just go like Rocky. Go the distance, baby. 15 rounds. We got to go. And whatever they do and whatever they say, we just look them in the eye and go, "Fuck you." Come back to the table with a real offer. Oh, I love when they come and they say, "Oh, we gave you the biggest deal, billions of dollars." Fran Drescher, I love her. Shout out to her. Crabtree, I want to party with that guy. He's amazing. David Jolliffe, all these wonderful people that are fighting for us. They go, Jolie Fisher, where's the fucking $1 billion package? I didn't see anything.
Let's educate people. Fran Drescher, I believe, is the president of SAG,
yes,
right?
She's the president of SAG, correct.
Right.
SAG yes.
And a wonderful actress.
Crabtree,
Jolie. Who are these people? Who's Crabtree? Who's Jolie Fisher's an actor? Tell us who these people are.
Yeah. Jolie Fisher is the treasurer. Crabtree is the vice president, and Jolie Fisher is the president. And David Jolliffe, remember the redheaded guy from Room 222? Do you remember Room 222?
Bernie. Character's name is Bernie. Yeah.
Bernie, one of the greatest guys.
That's him.
I do looping, and looping is very, it's the greatest thing in the world. It's all the people in the background, the sounds, it's called wallowing. It's behind the scenes. Like when you and I are in a scene, all the people in the restaurant, see, I use a restaurant, food, are talking, but they're miming when we film, and then actors come in and put those voices in the back. David Jolliffe is one of the best in the business, but he fights for us. He has been in so many negotiations. He is one of the greatest guys. I met David Jolliffe. This is a great story. I'm 17 years old. You remember the Beverly Glen Center, all the way up Beverly Glen and Mulholland?
Sure. The top of Mulholland, sure.
Right. So I got a job at, this is a great story, Michelle's Pastries, okay? I needed a job. I was
Of
course, right. They paid me in pastries and donuts. So my boss, the owner, goes, listen, I'm going to the bank. Don't fuck up. Stay behind the fucking counter. I go, oh, okay, sir. First day. So I go, geez, hope no one comes in. All of a sudden, I look out the window. Steven Spielberg and Amy Irving holding hands, skipping in the fucking parking lot. And I look, I go, don't come in here. Don't come in here. They came in. And he ordered a bear claw and a jelly donut. And I go, Mr. Spielberg, can I ask you a question? He goes, sure. I go, I'm an actor. Can you give me some advice? He goes, don't do it. I go, excuse me? He goes, don't do it. Don't be an actor. I go, no, I'm serious. But this is a great story.
I know. I don't like
it. Don't be an actor. And then, okay, I give him the jelly donut. I go, okay, sir. 23 years later, J.J. Abrams, the most dear guy, he's family to us. He's like a brother to me and my brother's best friend. His mom passed away, Carol Abrams, another salt of the earth, cancer. I don't understand why bad things happen to good people. I just don't understand it. So I was at her Shiva, and I walk in Steven Spielberg and Martin Short. And me, no one had shown up yet. And I go, Mr. Spielberg, nice to meet you. Hi, Marty Short. Great. We were talking, chopping it up. I go, Mr. Spielberg, I want to tell you a story. I met you when I was 17, and I asked you about being an actor, and you said, don't do it, but I chose to do it. I'm in about 25 years. He goes, oh, I'd still say don't do it. What? He goes, I give my kids the same advice. Don't be actors. Don't do it. So that's Michelle's. But Michelle's Cafe, I was a waiter, and David Jolliffe and Sean Cassidy every day. I used to wait on them.
Sean Cassidy,
one of the hottie boys, baby, and nicest guys. They would just.
You know what's funny about what Spielberg said to you? I'm thinking because your brother played a guy named Bernie Fine in a movie called The Fabelmans, which is terrific. Greg Grunberg steals a scene with his compassion for this kid who wants to become a filmmaker, and everyone says don't do it, and he did it. And Spielberg's telling you don't do it. I could see him say don't do it when you're 17 because he doesn't want you to get, crushed. But you tell him, I've been doing it 25 years, still don't do it. I would have said, okay, I won't do it. But if you cast me in something, I'll quit afterwards.
That's true. No, but he was honest. That's what but I chose to do it. I'm in, don't tell anybody, 37 years. And I would, if I had to do it all over again, and I'm going to ask you this question, I would do it the same way. How about you? If you had to do it all over again, would you have been a bartender back to mom's? And
you know what? It's what I do. I'm like I said, I get a chance to meet new people every time I go to work. I've been asked, do I regret sometimes? When I was at Mom's Saloon, I had actors and I had directors say, why don't you come, work on it? And I just didn't do it. I wasn't interested in acting. I was interested in having girls come in the bar and trying to hit on them all the time. And then my wife walked in, and thank God she told me to F off. And I went after that. It was the best decision I ever made in my life. Do I wish I would have acted or did something? No, you know why? Because I'm happy with what I did. It's provided me a very nice life. And I have a funny feeling you'll do something and I'll act in it. Maybe I'll when I retire from this, I'll be doing that.
Well, hopefully some of my projects will bring you along, and you'd be a great producer, but also I read some of your stuff, some of your scripts, man. You are a very good writer. You really are.
Thank you. Well, look, I'm not in the Writers Guild, but I have a passion. That's one of my hobbies is writing. I like doing it. And I have a lot of compassion for actors and that business because you, like I said earlier, and we'll get out of here after I talk, you entertain me. I make fun of you. I make fun of it. But when I see you, and I just talked about your brother and the Fabelmans and other things, when I watch stuff, whether it's, and you entertain me and you open my mind to something, that's what this is all about. And these fucking morons at the studios don't understand it. You're taking us away from people. Get us out of here.
And by the way, if it's not for us, they're not making any money. We create the characters. We write the characters. We're actors. We perform. That's why you're making all this fucking money, you jack-offs. That's what it's all about.
Hey, by the way, before we got 30 seconds, the guy that looks like Adolf Hitler over your right ear.
Oh, that's Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, guess what?
Oh, one of the funniest.
Tell that redneck that his picture's like.
Yeah. No, he's not Hitler. He's a great.
I'm
guy.
joking.
I know. That's me. By the way, that's me. Below him, I was in Vegas. I played a Elvis impersonator, car thief. Desert Breeze with John Favreau. It was
Good luck.
Disney. Didn't get picked up, but I had a great time. I was the fat Elvis, the later years. Is that a surprise? Hey, Fish, great show. Had a great time. Next week, we'll try to get the guest that dropped out, but we have so many people that want to be on the show. It's great. Thanks, buddy. I love you. We'll talk soon.
Love you too, man. Fat Fish 19 is in the books. And guess what, guys? We saw that. All right. Love everybody.